we'll just quickly move to the panel questions. So my first question to architect Prashant Deshmukh. So we speak about steel buildings, I mean PEB buildings. So solar heat ingress through metal roofs and walls is actually a big problem there.
Come back to it. Okay.
So how do you think this can be addressed, or how can we make occupants feel comfortable inside the building? Because we are speaking with respect to the Indian context.
Yeah, there is nothing special about Indian context, but maybe you are hinting at this being a tropical country, and we have a lot of heat, and there is a difference of ambient temperature versus the desired temperature within. So this issue is already thought over. I think many years since many years ago we had. If you go back, we had a AC sheet roofing where AC sheet was basically an insulating material, and people thought that it would actually reduce heat inside. But it never used to happen that way, and AC sheet was rejected, and ultimately galvanum roof came in. Now there are many kind of roofs which are manufactured by the roofing agencies, including Tata BlueScope for manufacturing color coated sheet. Now these color bond sheets are actually a kind of insulation with it, and it also is a fire effective, fire retardant material. So maybe a little bit of cost expensive, but then it is one of the best materials that can take care of the ambient temperatures versus desired internal temperature with a reduction of 3 to 5 degrees from both. The second choice is of course going on to the regular galvanum sheet with a better thickness, and then having an underdeck insulation of glass wool, whereby and good companies like UP Twiga or Saint Gobain are already available in the market. We normally go for 50 to 100 thickness with a liner panel which could be a white sheet with a reinforcement within, so that you don't have to spend any extra effort, take any extra effort for providing the mesh, etc. So this can be laid while the roofing itself is done, and they will also reduce the temperature to the extent of about 3 to 5 degrees. Third thing is, we also have sandwich panels, which are normally 80 mm to 100 mm or 120 mm, manufactured by, of course, today we have various foreign companies who are supplying in India. And luckily, we have also started with Indian companies like Reinac and all that. And these companies will definitely provide for a very beautiful sandwich panels, which can be used not only for the roof, but for the cladding as well, where the temperature will be reduced to an extent of 5 degrees to 7 degrees from ambient to inside. And it's a boon to the industry. We have been using it for cold rooms. We have been using it for clean rooms, but now it can be used very widely for the roof as well for the insulation down below. Yes, Indian context from your perspective is correct that we are much warmer kind of place as compared to the western areas. But then we are doing these industries in the Middle East and the countries there where the ambient temperature is more than actually that in India. I hope I have answered your question.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for that. So I will have one more question for you. So when I think you touched upon this point in your presentation as well. So PEB structures are generally, they're used for warehouses or industrial purposes. So it's like, they are boxy and aesthetically not very pleasing and all that. So how do you think, all these aspects can be incorporated? And do you think there is room? I'm sure you have mentioned that there is a room for that. So how do you think you can bring more aesthetics into PV structures from an architect's point of view?
I think the architects or the engineers here in India are at a very, very nascent stage as far as looking at the PEB buildings. If you see the kind of PEB buildings that the whole world is doing, not only for, you said, warehouses, but the PEB buildings are being used for commercial buildings as well as residential buildings. And they also take very architectural shapes and size, forms and everything, and in fact, that is very easy. I will give you the best example where, we are doing the latest airport in Mumbai, designed by the world #1 architect Zahari, and it is done purely in steel, purely by the technology of steel, and purely taking help of the pre-engineered building technology. So I think that I cannot give you anything better than that, because that is going to be one of the best thing that is going to happen to the whole world, because it is going to be the best airport in not only in India but in the world itself. But leaving aside that, even we have done buildings which are aesthetically pleasing, absolutely. So nobody would say that they are warehouses. Nobody would even say that they are industrial buildings. They look like absolutely pure commercial buildings. My idea of taking, continuous window was also that it would also give a relaxing kind of facade for me. And basic observation that we only use for warehouse. Yes, for warehouse, they are used because they are economical. The basic thing for warehouses, they are economical. Warehouses do not require windows. So all that detailing here, gets away, and there is a saving in terms of warehouses. But my dear warehousing people here in India should see what type of warehouses they are doing abroad. And they are doing beautifully, warehouses. If you see, for example, IKEA buildings, which are also in India at many places, you see they are all warehouses. They are all warehouses. Or you see all these brand companies, Flipkart and Amazons, their warehouses are aesthetically, they may not be great buildings, but they are definitely, yes, they have put in efforts to make them beautiful. They're more cheerful for them not only to store, but also enjoy the entire campus while they are doing that business. Okay.
Okay, thank you for that, sir. So now I want to have a few questions with Huzaifa as well. So my first question to you, sir. So when we speak about PEB structures, like, transportation can be a very large factor because we have to transport it from where it is, assembled and where the building is actually happening. So how do you think, like, especially when large quantity of construction material is to be transported? So how do you think this challenge can be overcome?
Mainly, Anupama, the transportation will not be, as per my experience, will not be a big challenge. But if it is, then it can be overcome by installation of a workshop or a factory, on site if it is a big site. So many times I saw that the fabricator install a machinery over a site only, and they manufacture the material on site. But if as per if we say, as per my knowledge and experience, steel projects are mainly nearby big cities, if we say, like industrial zones, and even in urban cities. So in India, we see there are almost everywhere factories and manufacturing units are there for big companies like Everest, Interarts. They have multiple manufacturing units in India. And if we say about our manufacturing, and we have a good manufacturing, we have a good transportation system in India. Logistic systems are very well in India, if we see, and which is not even the costly also, because I also transported my material to Lucknow and Kanpur metro, from Mumbai only, and to south, we can say in Madras also we have transported from Mumbai only. We preferred to manufacture it in our factory only in Mumbai, and we have transported. We have compared the cost, which we are not impacted majorly on our project cost. So we have transported it very well from the Mumbai.
Okay, so I think that is a different way of looking, and we came to know the reality. Okay, so my next question to you would be, uh, how do you think we can strike a balance between the cost effectiveness and structural integrity when it comes to PEB designs? This is because clients tend to prioritize cost cutting over engineering value. So, what do you think are the strategies to educate clients about the long-term benefits of optimized structural designs?
So there are two questions you ask. First, a client, every time when we design and we estimate. So many times, not every time, many times client asks for the economical designs. So they wanted a less tonnage. So at that time, we have to there are big challenges from designers perspective. We have to do a trial and error for a particular structure. We have to change the system, we have to change the framing type, and we have to check which type gives you a less tonnage. But we have to conduct certain certain seminars, certain programs to educate builders, developers, and architects also, which are not mainly into steel industry. So to get the importance of design, and to get the importance of steel structures. Okay, hope I answered you.
Okay, thank you for that. So, my question now, a common question to both of you, like, where do you think, I mean, how do you go about having an integrated approach between architects and engineers when it comes to, realizing a PEB building? I think both of you can answer this from your perspectives, or like how you need a collaborated approach to it. It's not only architect and engineer, you can also include the other stakeholders in this so that we can have, how do they participate for for getting a building done successfully? A PEB.
Primarily, we have to think about the sustainability, because steel is a green material in our industry, and the recyclable material. So primarily, we have to motivate all the stakeholder towards the sustainability aspect, so that all can use the steel, because steel in our mind is not a good impact. मतलब अगर इफ आई कैन से इन हिंदी तो अगर हम रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग में यूज़ करते हैं तो जो ऑक्यूपेंट्स को ये लगता है कि अरे यार ये तो फैक्ट्री बना कर दे दिया हमको, या इंडस्ट्रियल बिल्डिंग बना कर दे दिया। तो मतलब ये कि हमको एक स्टेप लेना पड़ेगा टुवर्ड्स सस्टेनेबिलिटी, वेयर एवरीवन इज फेमिलियर टू स्टील, एवरीवन कैन बी, मतलब स्टील का जो एक भय डर है लोगों के माइंड में, वो निकालना पड़ेगा। एंड इसके जो एडवांटेजेस है, एज सर सेड कि इट इज प्योरली एन आर्किटेक्चरल फ्रेंडली buildings, where we would have large span buildings and good shape structures. तो इन चीज़ों के प्रति हम अगर सोचेंगे तो we can use steel as a main and premier material in construction industry.
Okay, sir, Prashant, Deshmukh sir, we want to have your views also
So
in
I
that.
have written that article called ये PEB क्या है भाई, and it is a nationally popular article, whether it is Zamil Steel or Kilby or Interaj, so all these branded companies, uh, they refer to this article. But forget about them referring, whenever the new client comes, I tell them that, hey, just like an article, please go through it. Because it has got everything, all the properties of steel, all the advantages of going for PEB, and particularly the clients that we have here in India, they're mostly cost conscious. So if I tell them that, look, this is the building, okay, we will do something in concrete, we will do the estimation, and let us do it in steel, and we will do the estimation. We will also save your time. I told you an example of a commercial building that my friend did it in Hyderabad. If even a builder perspective, if he is taking 7 months to do that 25-story building, as against the builder who is, a regular thing in concrete, is going to take about 4 years. You just see the overhead charges of a builder per day. Now, is it not that is going to be, the profit margin? Plus, he starts making money out of that. The return on investment. You see, the time on return on investment is going to be very, very less, and that's where he's going to jump into a steel building. I know we are into a very primary stage as far as steel buildings are concerned, particularly from, let's say, residential and commercial point of view. A lot of structural designers have to really put in their heart into it. We are trying to promote that at our Steel Construction Association. But then I think once that is reached properly, number one, to all these stakeholders of the industry, and number two, the builders or the developers or the promoters, then I think this will catch up in India. Because it was a time when steel was very expensive in India. It was not manufactured in India. We used to get it from abroad. We used to get it from China. And there used to be a lot of lapse in time. There used to be a lot of taxation issues. All those things are sorted out now. And when I sit and discuss with the steel ministry, or when I sit and discuss with, let us say, JSW or Jindal or Tata, then they realize that there is a big kind of opportunity for them for the next 5 to 10 years. And they are therefore, if you take example of Tata's, they have not only remained as Tata Steel. They have started with Tata Blue Scope for the sheeting and all those things. They have started with Tata Structura for the various kinds of structures that you can do very simply, very useful, very supportive to pre-engineer building technology. Now, if that is done by Tata, I'm sure JSW will come forward, Jindal will come forward, and there are many other small players now in steel who will definitely take it over. You can see that in the next 4 or 5 years happening. The entrepreneurs, all the young people who want to be, the big players in this industry, please think of steel very seriously. And if you're thinking of steel, go for PEB technology. Maybe we can do some jugaad work, which we are expert in. Better than what the Tekla software is doing. Like all these branded companies which my friend talked about, whether it is Zamil or Kirby, they have their own softwares. They have come out with their own software for their own, facility for maybe transportation or maybe weight or maybe detailing or whatever it is. They have developed software further down. So these things are bound to happen with a country like us. And I'm sure we've got a very bright future as far as the PV buildings in India are concerned. And I am very grateful to you for ACE Update, for organizing this kind of a talk, and an expert here who is explained the entire thing right from nail to finish. And I'm very thankful to him as well, being here. And I think probably a greater platform may be designed by you, where we can have experts from the user's perspective, probably from the promoter's perspective. There are so many people waiting for you. I think in the lobby, you can pick them up, and next time we can have a better event. Thank you very much.
Is there any final, insights that you would like to give? Anything as an economic benefit or anything? I really welcome both of you to share your thoughts.
Yes, I would like to say to all that PEB is not just a term PEB. It is a complete philosophy. It is a complete engineering methodology which every structural engineer, civil engineer, architect should have to learn to boost the steel industry and to utilize the steel industry and steel manufacturing in their projects. Even the an architect can also manufacture a collaborated structure as well. While columns and beams are in RCC, or some elements are in RCC, some elements are in steel, which they want more flexible as far as the architectural flexibilities are concerned. So I request all attendees to utilize the steel in their projects. And the pre-engineered means you manufacture it in a factory and install it on site, so it gives you all advantages. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
I
I'm
am
sure.
actually, through this Indian Steel Construction Association, we are promoting the use of steel. And as my friend said, we are also, talking about hybrid structures where we can combine steel with concrete. So all that is definitely there, and we conduct kind of workshops at the institute level as well. We are conducting certain, what we call steel expos. We are celebrating Steel Day, and all these things are happening across India, just for your information. And I can send you an entire timetable which you can publish in your ACE update, where many more delegates can come into all these events, because they are kind of non-profit approach that we have. So they can join in. We have all the experts, good structural engineers. There are people from abroad who are experts on steel industry, and there are people from steel manufacturing. So these guys can meet them in that place. We are doing it. We just completed it in Chennai. We'll be doing it in Bombay very shortly, and then we'll be moving on to places like Delhi and Guwahati and even into the Madhya Pradesh and things like that.
Okay, so that was wonderful. And I thank both my panelists for giving us a lot of insights and their perspectives.